Hello, once again. My name is Elena, and you have just tuned in to Adventures in Caregiving. So, thank you so much before I even get started for taking the time to check out my pod. This has been a labor of love for sure. I started this, I stopped it, I started it again, and then life just happens. And in my mind, I really thought that I would use different episodes to go in chronological order. But today, that's not going to be the case. I'm going to talk about something that is happening in real time because it has taken a lot of energy for me to even talk about it and discuss it. And so today, we will be talking about getting a new diagnosis. Um, my son has complex abilities. He actually has a gene mutation that is called GRIN2B. It took us 6 years from birth to figure that out. And with this mutation, he has gross developmental delay. And in that, uh, he has not hit the milestones that a typical child would. And so we have spent a very long time in therapy, from occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, music therapy, hippotherapy. We've done all the things, and we've just been going along year after year. We try our best to be consistent with him, because consistency is key. And we try to build upon the foundations at the baseline that we have learned. And so we've just been going through life. So outside of that, he thankfully has not had many hospitalizations. However, we wanted to celebrate him this summer. We've hit some really great milestones, and I will say, when compared to a typical child, um, I've noticed that birthdays are a little different, you know, whereas they he doesn't have a strong friend group, and we'll talk about friendships in another episode, but uh, having to be celebrated in a way where there are a lot of people coming and doing certain things. And so, like I said, we hit a milestone this summer, and we thought, hey, he's graduating and his birthday is coming up. Let's do a cruise. And so I planned this a year ahead. I thought that would be the best option for us so that I wouldn't have the burden of hosting people at my house and trying to figure all of that out, because I already have some hesitation about going into this new lifestyle of adulthood. And so I thought, oh, well, we'll just do a cruise. So then that way families can come together. If you can come, that's great. If you can't, that's fine too. There's no hard feelings. And my family, my extended family, even, we haven't taken a cruise before. So we thought, oh, well, let's go ahead and do it. Now, I do want to preface and say, like, my son, my daughter, and I, we have cruised. So what I did, because I'm that parent, I we went on one cruise without my son, just to see, because I've never been on a cruise before. So then once we realized, oh, okay, there's accommodations, there are different things that we can do to try to modify our experience. We took our first family cruise last year, and it was just a quick little 4-day cruise. It was lovely. We actually got off of the ship. I found a resort with great accommodations for him, for the day pass, and then got back on the ship. Everything was fine. So I thought, okay, well, we'll just do another cruise. So then that way more people can enjoy the experience. And then we'll just celebrate everything all at once. So we did the cruise, and we actually took a week of vacation. So we took a few days. All of this, before I start my story, all of this was new. So our previous cruise was out of the state that we live in. So we just drove to the port and it was fine. This cruise that we took this past summer, we had to fly. And TJ has only flown 2 or 3 times. And it was once when we moved. I think another time he flew on his father's side to go to a graduation of some sort. And then this cruise that was this summer. So we called TSA. Everything was fine there. They have actually a system called TSA Cares. So if you need special accommodations, they will make sure that you go through the proper line, that you're checked appropriately, all the things. The airline, very good. And I'll talk about this maybe in a different episode. But apparently, if you have medical equipment, you can actually check that free of charge. So that doesn't count against your normal bag. So that was a blessing. So we were able to pack everything together. I got the wheelchair. We got everything accommodated. Everything was fine. We get to Florida. That's where we ported out of. And we spent a few days there. So that was great. Like we had a great room. It was a nice resort that we stayed on. And we did the cruise. And the cruise went to the Bahamas. The first day, it was great. We did another day pass and they were accommodating for that. Then the second day, we went to a different port that was, I believe it was owned by the Carnival line. We went on Carnival. And um, it was hot. That's what I can remember. It was hot. It was beautiful. There was a lot going on. There were a lot of people there, and there weren't a lot of like shaded areas that I can recall. So we were outside all day, and we had to tender in. So that was an issue um, that I had never experienced. It wasn't really an issue. It was just different. I did not account for that. So I think I'll have another episode just kind of talking about a cruise. But the main point that I wanted to get in this episode today was what happened on the ship. So the last day we were out at sea, we were headed back to the actual port, and my son had a seizure. And it lasted, it was under 2 minutes. He was sleeping. We were all sleeping. We decided we were going to not get up early because we got up early all the previous days, and this was the last day. So we thought we would sleep in a little bit. 30 minutes longer than normal. And my daughter jumped up because he was making a weird noise. And she said, "Mom, he's seizing." And so in that instance, I jump up and he is seizing. And my mind kind of went into survival mode. She was talking, but I couldn't really comprehend. But we were able to call the emergency on the ship. They transported us down to the medical facilities in the ship, and they were able to treat him, got him hydrated. They started him on seizure medication. And during this time, I was out of my body. I don't really remember um, my emotions. I just kept thinking he can't die on this ship. I don't know what is happening, why it's happening. He can't die on this ship. And I prayed and I cried, and I was coherent enough to tell the doctors to contact his neurologist back home. And so they were able to make that connection. They were able to give the right dosage of medication that everyone felt comfortable with. And the doctor said, your son is going to have to be on medication the rest of his life. And I said, no, he's not. No, he's not. But we'll take this medicine to get us home. So we were able to port the next day. We flew home. We went to the neurologist. We did an EEG where they put these little nodes on his head and they tracked his brain activity. And we waited for the results. The results came back fine. Now, this was about 3 days, 3 or 4 days after the episode. So that was comforting to know. It's like, okay, well, the EEG came back normal. We kind of suspected it would be normal. And the doctors gave us emergency medication if the seizure should last over 5 minutes. And then she gave us a dosage that, in my mind, with him having this first seizure, I thought the dosage was high. And so I said, I think the conditions that we were in, we were traveling all week, we were in a new environment. Towards the peak of this vacation, it was very hot. He could have been dehydrated and all these things. It could have been weather induced. Like the trigger could have been the environmental conditions. And so in my mind, I thought, well, we won't be doing this again, so we don't have to worry about it. And I opted out to not do the medication and just to monitor to see. So we got video cameras in his room, and life, we went about life. We celebrated the holidays. Uh, a month or so went by, maybe very close to 2 months went by, and he had another episode. This time he was at home, and we caught it on the camera. So thank God for those monitoring cameras. So we had something to give back to the doctors. And I won't spend a lot of time on the things thereafter, but what I want to say is it's okay as a caregiver to not know the answers. And it's okay to go back to feeling unsure and sad, because this puts us in a whole new world of understanding seizures and epilepsy on top of its other complexities. So we, in my mind, kind of went to being like an expert. Like, okay, I know the things. I know what he has. I know what we need to do to work on. I know what goals we need to achieve, to not knowing how to function with this new diagnosis. So we will be uh, researching and trying to get all the information that we can, working with providers, finding new providers that can assist us in this journey, and um, using medicine as a healing source so that he does not have any more breakthrough seizures, hopefully. And my hope is that this isn't a permanent thing. My hope is that we can regulate it and his body can adjust to his growth and all of these different things that could be happening in his body, to where we can decrease the dosage. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of talk about that. And, I was kind of all over the place because I talked about the cruise and then I talked about this diagnosis. But, you know, that was basically the start of saying, I need to get this information out. The things that I'm learning, the things that I have learned. Um, if you are a parent that has a child with complexities, know that you are not alone. It's okay to breathe. I have my pillow, that it's like a feelings pillow. So you'll see this on the show, um, as I sit and kind of talk about how I feel, how I really feel. Right now, I feel content. I actually feel at peace that I was able to get through this episode. And in different episodes to come, I'll refer back to this moment because this was a life defining moment for us. This really changed the way I parent and changed the way we caregive. But one thing that is not going to stop is it is not going to stop living our lives as we see fit. We are going to continue to travel. We are going to continue to try new things. We are going to be equipped with the education and the tools that we need while we do those things. And we won't walk in fear. We will not walk in fear. We will continue on, and my son will have a fulfilling life. And we are going to just learn along the way. So I just want to thank you for listening today. and being patient as I think through my thoughts. You guys have been great. Be sure to follow me. I have episodes on Spotify. I am building up my YouTube channel, so please like and subscribe. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook. So thank you so much for listening today. And I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.